describe myself as dark but bright from now on.
Right.
That's
yes.
perfect. I love it.
Well, because they can tell you are very animated. You are an author. Tell us a little bit about your work.
So I write about topics that a lot of people are usually uncomfortable with. So I write dark. I write not necessarily scary in a horror sense, but scary in the sense of these things happen in real life and they happen to real people. So I write a lot about social topics that are important to not only teens but also adults. So I have a book about the opioid epidemic. I have a book about rape culture, and I write a lot more in like the psychological slash thriller and murder mystery arena, because I am a person who grew up as a child. Even I was never a person that was walking around assuming the best would happen, right? I just assumed there's something under my bed, there's something in the closet, there's something at the window.
Yep.
And my brain is going to come up with what all three of those things are.
So
and I will not sleep tonight. Yes.
There's definitely something in the shadows.
Of course there is.
So have you always been that kind of an advocate? Because a lot of those themes are definitely something that we've all been talking about, especially the last few years.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of my books focus on feminism and strong female characters, because I was a child in the 80s.
Right.
And everything that I was interested in doing and everything that I perceived as goal-worthy were things that I was being told through books, TV, television, movies were for men.
Yeah.
And it was very frustrating for me. However, I was very fortunate. I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere. And when you grow up on a farm, it doesn't matter if you're a girl or a boy, you're going to do this job because somebody has to do it.
Yes.
So without meaning to, I grew up in like a very feminist household. And I never knew that there were things that I wasn't supposed to do or that I wasn't allowed to do. And so I just grew up not really knowing that there was such a thing as women's work, or a way that a woman is supposed to be. And that's very freeing. And then as I moved out into the world, people would sometimes be like, oh, no, you can't,
Yes.
And I would be very frustrated by that. And so today I write books for me when I was younger, and showing women and girls in situations and doing things that were never represented to me when I was younger.
Right. Oh, I love that. Sorry, I'm like mouth agape. Okay, I'm so in love with you. So when did you become a writer? Had you always been writing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I always wanted to be a writer, but again, I am from the middle of nowhere. My family as farmers for 9 generations, that's what we do.
Wow.
We are farmers, and some of us are teachers, but none of us are writers.
Okay.
And I always knew that's what I wanted to do. I did not know how a person became one.
Right.
And I was also fairly certain that how you became one was that like something came down from heaven and said, you're a writer.
Knocks on your door and says, I've heard.
Yeah, they showed up.
I've heard, yes.
Yeah, where I live.
Yes.
And they were like, it's the only house. This must be her.
This must be her.
Yeah. No, you have to go find them.
Right.
And it's really, really hard. If you want to become published in the traditional publishing world, you have to have a literary agent in order to have them represent you to the big publishers, and getting an agent is extremely difficult. It took me 10 years.
Wow.
And during that time, I was actually a librarian, and I was a librarian in a public school for 14 years, and I loved that job. I could have very easily continued in that job and been happy and been fulfilled.
Right.
I'm just very fortunate that I did get picked up, and my 12th book came out this week.
Oh my God! Well, congratulations on that. And so, how do you stay motivated? You've got 12 books. Do you ever get nervous that the idea machine's going to run out?
So every time I sit down to write, I think, what if I can't this time?
Okay.
Because I have no formal education in writing. I have only learned to write by reading. And there is a magic in it that you sit down and you assume that something is going to be funneled into you and it will come out into
Divine
your laptop.
intervention.
Absolutely. And, sometimes it doesn't. So it is very scary. But it's also something that, just like anything else, there is a magic to it, but there is also a skill and a work ethic, and I do find myself very often, you asked what motivates me, so that's how I make a living. So if I want to have a house and eat food and wear clothes, I find that motivating.
We all enjoy electricity.
Yeah, exactly. I need to be warm in the winter. We live in Ohio,
That's right.
So I am motivated, of course, because this is my actual job. Being inspired is something different. And when that comes, when that hits, you have to hold on to that. And you have to grip and make sure that it doesn't slip away.
All right, well, you were are such an inspiration. We are going to have all your social media handles up on NBC24.com, and she'll be back for book number 13. I'm putting it on the calendar right now. All right, stick with us. We'll be right back.